Biali no chime. That means hello everyone. Welcome to the Nahuatl channel. If you're watching this is the first episode in the video series where I'm going to try to teach you guys how to speak Nahuatl. Alright, so my name is Jan Garcia. I'm a Nahuatl teacher. I teach with Tlahtol Tapasoli, which is a Nahuatl teaching organization based out of Los Angeles. I'm also a linguist. And I've been speaking Nahuatl since about 2009. So in this video series, we're going to focus on the Wasteka Nahuatl variety. There's different varieties of the Nahuatl language, which if you don't know, Nahuatl was a language spoken by, you could say, the Aztec or the Mexica Empire, as it's also known, civilization. And it's a language still spoken by over 1.5 million people today in various states of Mexico. The variety that we were focusing on, we'll be focusing on, like I said, the Wasteka region, which is based in the states of Hidalgo, San Luis Potosí, and Veracruz. One thing that I'll take a lot of pride in this video series that we're going to have is that I'm going to give you guys, teach you guys now, straight up. I'm not here with any agenda to glorify any translations, to misguide anyone, to give fake advice to anyone as far as how the language works. Because, when you're looking at Facebook posts, especially the ones that go viral, if they go viral and if they're written by non-native speakers of Nahuatl, there's a good chance that it's going to be misinformation. It's going to be fake translations. It's going to be fake things that have been created either a long time ago and just been regurgitated over the days, but which words and translations that don't exist in the native speaking community, in the actual communities. So I take a lot of care in making sure that I fact check everything that I give to you guys. And I speak with native speakers on a consistent basis. So, that's one more reason that you can trust this channel. That being said, be careful what sources you trust out there. Be careful what videos or posts or viral things you see out there, things that get shared out there. Be careful what sources you are trusting. Not all of these sources are things that you can really trust. And even me necessarily, I take a lot of care in making sure that I'm giving you guys, the real Nahuatl, but talk with native speakers, look for native speaking Facebook groups or other groups on other websites. Find your resources, and I'll show you a bunch of other resources that you can use to verify these translations. How this video series is going to work is that I'm going to introduce you guys to some exercises. Alright, so after we get through this exercise, which will be a lot in Nahuatl, at the end of it, I'll show you guys what words, what patterns of the language that we focused on, okay? So that we'll go through that after this. So if you're sitting there a little bit confused, it'll make more sense towards the end of the video, as long as you were, watching the video and paying attention to it. After that, I'll post a link to where I have organized all the vocabulary for you guys in each video already prepared. It's on a free website called Quizlet. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but it's an easy free way for everyone to get access to these vocabulary cards. You can easily create an account with them, and then you'll have your you'll be able to study the vocabulary words ready. Lastly, feel free to ask any questions. So any questions that come up, chances are other people will have those questions too. And feel free to post those questions here at the bottom of this YouTube channel. So as we get started, please hit subscribe and share this video too. Alright, here we have a lady who says, Piali, kenihki motoka. Piali, kenihki motoka. Piali. So piali is the general greeting that you're going to find in the Wasteka. It generally means, it's kind of like aloha, where it kind of means hello and goodbye at the same time. It's a very general greeting. She says, kenihki motoka. Kenihki motoka. Kenihki motoka. What is your name? How is your name? What's your name, basically? He responds, Notoka Lalo. Notoka Lalo. My name is Lalo. And he responds, Kenihki motoka. What's your name? Kenihki motoka. What's your name? She responds, Notoka Lydia. Notoka Lydia. Alright, so anyone watching this right now, I can ask you guys, Kenihki motoka? Kenihki motoka? And what's your response going to be? It's going to be no toca, which means my name is. No toca blank. Whatever it is that you're going to put. No toca blank. So I would say no toca yan. No toca yan. And now to ask again, it's kenihki motoka. Kenihki motoka. Okay? First greeting. Right here we have a Chichi. 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 Yes, some of you might say, I've heard it squintly be used. They say that more in other varieties. In this variety, the most common word is chichi. Miston. 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 Tototl. 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 Siwat. 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 Tlacatl. 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 Okay, so we saw so far Chichi, which is your dog. Miston, a cat. Tototl, a bird. Siwatl, a woman. Tlacatl, a man. Okay, so when we're looking at the pronunciation, we'll talk in another video coming up about how the spelling necessarily works. Okay, but just so you can see right now, you're going to pronounce it kind of like if you're going to pronounce almost any other language besides English. So this is not how English sounds like. The way it's written is a little bit more closer to what Spanish sounds like, especially if you're talking about those vowels, those a, e, I, o, u sounds. It's going to be more like that. So this is not mistone, like it would be in English, not mistone, but it'd be miston. Miston. So this I really makes the E sound. Miston. The O makes the O sound. A very pure O sound. And A is not going to be A, but it's going to be A. A. Like in Siwat. It's going to be A. Siwat. And the sounds in Nahuatl are really not that complicated. The only really new sound that you're going to encounter here is the TL sound. Again, I'll go through another video that'll focus more on how to pronounce that, but for now, just know it's not a K sound. It's not totot. It's not totot. It's totot. 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 Okay, so when it's at the end of words, I know it can be a little bit tricky, but it's going to be very common. So something to really want to learn. But if you can't do it, just know there's some varieties that don't even pronounce that. Some varieties just say totot, like a T. Totot. So, if that's the best you can do for now, that's okay. But, with practice, I guarantee you'll get this down in some time. Siwat also has that TL sound at the end. Siwat. And tlacatl also has that TL sound. Tlacatl. Okay. Kena. Ashkana. Kena. Ashkana. Kena. Ashkana. You can also say amo. Amo. A lot of other varieties are going to say amo or atmo or something like that. The Wasteka, very more commonly, you're going to hear ashkana. Ashkana. But you're also going to hear amo. So some people do also say amo. So it's almost like they're interchangeable for some people. For other people, atmo is a stronger no, kind of like don't. But for the most part, you can use those interchangeably. So I'll use both in this video series. Our first question. Inin Siwat? Inin Siwat? Is this a Siwat? Inin Siwat? Is this a Siwat? Remembering what that word was? The response would be Amo. Amo. Amo Siwat. Amo Siwat. It's not a woman. Amo Siwat. The question was, Inin Siwat? Is this a woman? He said, Amo Siwat. Nope, it's not a woman. Inin Tlacatl? Inin Tlacatl? Kena. Kena, right? Yes, Kena. Inin Tlacatl. Inin Tlacatl. Inin Tlacatl? Ashkana. Ashkana. Inin Siwatl. Inin Siwatl. Inin Siwatl? Kena. Inin Siwatl. Inin Siwatl. Inin Tlacatl? Amo. Or Ashkana. Ashkana Tlacatl. Inin Chichi. Inin Chichi. Inin Miston? Kena. Kena. Inin Miston. Inin Miston. Inin Tototl? Inin Tototl? Kena. Kena. Inin Tototl. Inin Tototl. Katlia. So Katlia basically means which, or which is. So I could say Katlia. I could ask Katlia Tototl. So if I were to ask you Katlia Tototl, that question means which one is a bird? Which one is a Tototl? And that answer would be two. Ome. Two. Katlia Tototl. Two. Katlia Miston. Katlia Miston. Eyi. Se ome eyi. Katlia Chichi. Se. One. Katlia Tlacatl. Which one's the Tlacatl? Naui. Four. We'll cover the numbers soon. Don't worry. Now, no text to help us out this time. Inin Siwatl? Amo. Amo Siwatl. Inin Siwatl? Kena. Inin Siwatl. Inin Chichi? Kena. Inin Chichi. Inin Chichi? Ashkana. Ashkana. Inin Siwatl. Inin Siwatl? Ashkana. Inin Miston. Inin Miston. Inin Tototl? Ashkana Tototl. Inin Tlacatl. Inin Tlacatl. Inin Chichi? Amo. Amo Chichi. Inin Tototl. Inin Tototl. Okay, hopefully you got that pattern. If not, you can repeat that part over and over again. And, we're starting off with simple sentences, but already I want to focus on little sentences instead of just giving you grammar lessons and showing you how things break down. We'll get to that eventually, but first it's better if we have some examples of how the language actually works. All right, next section here. Tlen kichiwa. Tlen kichiwa is a question that means, what is he doing, or what is she doing, or what is it doing? All of those. There's no difference between he, she, and it in Nahuatl. It's just, what is he, she, or it doing? All right, so no gender here in this part. So that's the question. Tlen, what? Kichiwa, he doing? And so we're talking about a Siwat, right? So what is she doing? She's doing tlaqua. Tlaqua. So hopefully my sign is obvious enough to mean eating. Eating, right? Tlaqua. Tlinkichiwa? Tlaqua. Tlinkichiwa? Tlaoni. 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 So she's drinking. Now, just like in English, if you say tlaoni, it can imply like drinking alcohol, right? If you just say she's drinking, and we're not saying what she's drinking, but if we're gonna actually talk about what she's drinking, that's a little bit more advanced. So we'll get to that later. So right now we just know what we're saying is she's drinking something. We don't know what. She's just drinking in general. So tlenkichiwa, tlaoni, tlaoni, tlaoni. Okay, so far we have tlaqua and tlaoni. And if you're at home, do these signs too, and you kind of build that muscle memory along with the words and the sounds. Tlenkichiwa. Tlenkichiwa. Gochi. Gochi. She's sleeping. She sleeps. She sleeps. Now, some people who are more advanced will say, well, shouldn't we say kochtok? And yes, but that's a little bit more advanced. So right now we're just learning the bare verb, and we'll get to that lesson eventually again. But kochi just means she sleeps. In general, she sleeps. Tlenkichiwa, what does she do? Kochi, she sleeps. Kochi. Tlenkichiwa. Tlenkichiwa. Motlaloa. So either word got cut off here, but it's motlaloa. Motlaloa. She's running. Motlaloa. Motlaloa. Inin Siwat? Motlaloa. Tlenkichiwa? Nehnemi. 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 This is just walking. Nehnemi. She walks. Nehnemi. Nehnemi. Tlen kichiwa chichi. Tlen kichiwa chichi. Gochi. Gochi. Okay, so what just happened here? We asked, what is the dog doing? Tlen kichiwa chichi. What is it doing? We're referring to the dog. Tlen kichiwa chichi. What's the dog doing? Chichi gochi. The dog is sleeping. The dog sleeps. The dog sleeps. Chichi gochi. We could also say inin chichi gochi. This dog sleeps. This dog sleeps. Inin chichi gochi. Tlen kichiwa chichi. Inin chichi motlaloa. Inin chichi motlaloa. Tlen kichiwa chichi. Inin chichi tlaqua. Tlaqua. It's eating. Tlaqua. Tlen kichiwa chichi. Tlaoni. Tlaoni. Inin chichi tlaoni. Tlen kichiwa miston. Inin miston tlaoni. Tlaoni. Inin miston tlaoni. Tlen kichiwa miston. Inin miston gochi. Inin miston gochi. Tlen kichiwa tototl. Tlen kichiwa tototl. Inin tototl gochi. Inin tototl Cochi. So you see, we can interchange all these things. The bird, the dog, anyone who's doing it. Anything, any person, we can ask, what are they doing? And just follow this pattern and substitute that word. Tlen kichiwa tototl. Tlaqua. It's eating. I could also say tototl tlaqua. The bird's eating. I could also say inin tototl tlaqua. This bird is eating. There's different responses. Tlen kichiwa tototl. Inin tototl. Remember the word? Motlaloa. Motlaloa. Tlen kichiwa tlacatl. Tlen kichiwa tlacatl. Cochi. Cochi. Inin tlacatl cochi. Inin tlacatl tlaqua? We haven't seen this before, but maybe you can kind of tell by the way it's going and my intonation, I'm asking a yes-no question. So all I have to do is make it sound like a yes-no question with my intonation. Inin tlacatl tlaqua? Meaning, is this man eating? Inin tlacatl tlaqua? Ashkana. Ashkana tlaqua. He's not eating. Tlaoni. He's drinking something. Tlaoni. Inin tlacatl nehnemi? Nehnemi? Ashkana. Inin tlacatl motlaloa. Motlaloa. Inin tlacatl nehnemi? Ashkana nehnemi. Inin tlacatl tlaqua. Tlaqua. Inin tlacatl nehnemi? Kena. Kena. Inin tlacatl nehnemi. Tlacatl. Telpocatl. 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 Oquichpil. 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 Okay, so Oquichpil is a male boy. So basically a boy. You know, everything from a young kid to, before he's a teenager, what you'd consider to be a boy. Telpocatl is a young man / a teenager. Anything from, 13, 14 years old, up into someone who's not yet married, would be Telpocatl, a young man. And Tlacatl is basically your adult man. Adult man, Tlacatl. So Tlacatl, Telpocatl, Oquichpil. Okay, we got the same pattern for females. Siwat, Ichpocatl, Ichpocatl, Ichpocatl for a teenage girl. And Siwapil for a little girl. Siwapil, Siwapil, Siwapil. Maybe you notice that Siwapil and Siwat both have a Siwa in them. That's because like Siwapil, that ending of pil kind of makes it sound like it's a small woman. Like a small woman. Same thing with Oquichpil. But the word Okich used to mean male. That used to be the original word for, one of the older words for male. Okay, so here's some of the words that we saw today. We saw Tlacatl. We saw Telpocatl. We saw Oquichpil, Siwatl, Ichpocatl, Siwapil. Animals, Miston, Chichi, Tototl. The actions, Nehnemi, and Motlaloa and Tlaqua and Tlaoni and Kochi. What's your name? Kinihki Motoka. And my name is Notoka blank. Okay, so do you have any questions or any thoughts about what we just learned, the sentences that we saw? Some patterns you might have noticed of how things are different from English. There's not really a word that means the, right? When we said the dog is sleeping, we just say Chichi Kochi, the dog sleeps. But there's no word for the. I just say dog. So there's no need for a word like the. There's also no word that it's like is or are. You just say the action right after the word, right? Dog sleep. And that means the dog is sleeping. That already implies it. Chichi kochi. Chichi nehnemi. Dog walks. It means the dog is walking. Okay, so we don't have as much detail there like in English, but there'll be complexities that we'll see eventually soon. So this wraps up the first lesson. Again, any questions, feel free to comment down below. If it didn't make sense, give it a second view of this video. Get that practice in, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Tlaskamati, which means thank you.